मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ May all my limbs attain strength. May the body, mind, sensory and motor organs and the life force become strong and efficient. All is verily the one without second, absolute and blissful existence itself, the Brahman. May I never reject Brahman. May Brahman never reject me either. May all the virtues needed to experience this truth be with me. Om peace, peace, peace. Let us feel the all-pervading existence of God interwoven through all of us and all things in the universe, like the screen in and through every picture in the movie. Let us feel each of us as a picture on the screen that is God. Who is before the movie, during the movie, and after the movie. Anything that happens in the movie does not touch it. That is our true unchanging nature. United with this, we go beyond all problems, all sufferings, and attain the ultimate goal of life. Om. Peace, peace, peace. So friends, let us begin today's discussion on this. Stories from Srimad Bhagavatam, as you are seeing on the screen. And today's important story is the Kunti's prayer to Lord Krishna, which is very famous, very often discussed in the spiritual religious texts, and is also very cardinal to our spiritual life. Very important passage, and therefore it is important to study that. Let us begin the discussion with our regular prayers. जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत् सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. That from whom creation, sustenance and dissolution of the universe take place, who is both the instrumental and material cause of it, who is omniscient, is the only one having self-mastery, being the one independent entity, who illumined the mind of Brahma with the Vedic revelation, whose wisdom is the wonder of even the greatest sages, in whom the world of the three gunas subsists as they of materials like fire, water and earth subsist in their causes without changing their elemental nature, in whose consciousness there is nothing false. On that truth supreme we meditate. We saw last time the story of Parikshit, how Parikshit was born and then how he became the king, and what a pious king he was, and yet he had, like everybody has, a moment of indiscretion, and thus in that moment he put a snake around a sage who was in samadhi, and then got cursed by the son of that sage for this, that the snake that you have put in my dad's neck, that snake, another snake is going to bite you to end your life from the seventh day now. And then King Parikshit, therefore as a great devotee he was, his mind was always set on the highest ideal of life, even while performing the duties of the household, as the king should do. He was doing all the kingly duties, but the mind was set on the divine. So he decided that that's enough is enough now. This is the time to give up all attachments and merge completely in the divine. So he started listening to Bhagavatam. We shall revert to that incident later again. But this is much before that, when Lord Krishna, after the Mahabharata war was over, Pandavas became victorious. Krishna saw that he has been away for a long time from his kingdom, that is Dwaraka. So he should now go back there, as apparently his mission here is over. So he was about to climb the chariot to get there. Now that Dwaraka is not exactly the present Dwaraka city that we see. This is the Dwaraka, but uh, it is said this Dwaraka is also a pretty old city. This also, the earliest records suggest that it is at least a few hundred years before Jesus. So it is in BC era. But then there was another Dwaraka city, and there is an island also called Bet Dwaraka. So the Bet Dwaraka, one can even now go there, and it was said that Sri Krishna used to live there at Bet Dwaraka, and the city of Dwaraka he used to govern, also with all the big kingdom of them. There was a reason for Sri Krishna's coming to Dwaraka from Mathura. Earlier, Mathura was the capital of the kingdom, but because he saw so many other these demonic kings were attacking him, and because of that, the subjects there were they were also troubled. They had to bear the brunt of the frequent attacks, and so Krishna decided that let him go near the sea. So he went to Dwaraka on the northwest coast of India. So it had been an important port earlier, and so there are the references of its being used as a port, and there had been excavations, and they found a city underneath, where a lot of artifacts that are archaeologically important are there. There has been a jetty, a built, constructed jetty that is for the this trade on the sea, that also is excavated, which dates back at least another 1,000 years than this present Dwaraka. So that is, and many other things are found there, suggesting that yes, there was a prosperous city, and this references in Puranas and other literature are there to tell that Sri Krishna himself decided to get this city drowned. We shall come to that story some other time, maybe in our next class. But today, as Krishna was about to get onto the chariot, Kunti, the pious mother of the Pandavas, she asked him to wait, and so she started praying to him. Kunti now was closely related to Krishna. So Pandavas and Krishna, they were cousins, because Krishna's father Vasudeva was the brother of Kunti. So therefore Kunti was Krishna's paternal aunt. And so Krishna was the maternal cousin of the Pandavas. So from the side of the mother, so maternal. So it is, and yet so they were acquainted with each other for a long time, right from the birth. Kunti has seen Krishna as a human being. And so this prayer is a combination where you see the divinity and yet the expressing through a human form. This is the both these things you find that Krishna she sees as a human being, as her own nephew, that it is yeah, her brother's son, and yet God incarnate. How difficult it is to imagine, but that is how she could see that, and this is visible, this is understandable, this can be cognized well only by those who have devotion. Otherwise, they do feel wonder that although being a human, how this person can do that, and therefore then they invent all that this must be some kind of a magic. There are so many magicians, they do various tricks. So this person might be a magician, or as it was the case that was said about Sri Ramakrishna by those psychoanalysts or other psychologists. They take the view of Sri Ramakrishna as going into samadhi as a pathology case, that it is he had either epilepsy or some other brain problem, or also further, that is not just that, he had some sexual aberration, and because of that, see, the imagination can go to any extent, and so therefore he used to feign samadhi. Actually, nothing like that. He had morbid sexuality, and therefore all this was happening in his life, because a common person doesn't see any connection. It is that it is human form, so they apply all those yardsticks to such personage, such manifestation. But devotees, they see that it is the God that is appearing before us to educate us. So Kunti could see that although here is her dear nephew, still who is he? So she starts praying that Namaste Purusham Tvamadyam Ishwaram Prakrite Param, that you are the I salute. Namaste means I am saluting you. And then how are you? That alaksham sarvabhutanam antar bahir avasthitam. Antar bahir avasthitam. So I am prostrating before you the being beyond the manifold nature, that is Prakriti, limited by the body. One cannot see you, although you are everywhere, pervading everything inside and outside. That is the reality, pervading inside and outside. And yet people cannot see this because mm, they they their understanding just is what appears to the senses, and senses see only that which is on the surface. Howsoever fine you may make the senses, howsoever your analytical brain power can go, to the finest extent, yet one will not be able to discern the invisible uh, underlying uh, that substratum of all these forms that come and go. That is how she is seeing the Lord Krishna. Let us say that a human being, but then this human being in the in terms of the nature of that human being, the deep reality is the all pervading existence, consciousness, bliss, Satchidananda is appearing in all these forms, but we are caught in the form, and so we see it only that. Like the babies, they do not discern the same substance that is in all animal crackers. They see that that is a camel, that is an elephant. Good for their training to, understand the names of different creatures. But as they grow old, just as they enter into kindergarten or first grade, they know that all of them are same. So that underlying substance of all forms, let us reflect it on ourselves, friends, that these are all forms, we are all forms. Underlying existence is that divine principle. So Kunti sees that what is in front of me, although a human being, is in essence the manifestation of that one divine principle, that but we are caught in body and mind, that complex, and therefore we cannot have that discerning capability to uh, pierce that covering of form and see the what the person is. And in the next verse she says, you are covered by your own power of Maya, and so we cannot see you, although you are present under all the changing sensory perception as its unchanging substratum. Like an actor in a costume is not recognized even while seeing him, we cannot recognize your divinity due to human garb. That is, she is saying that and this happens when an actor puts on a costume, say whatever it may be, then even those who know that person cannot recognize who that person is. We went to see the dance of a little girl, some for Bharatnatyam performance, and then even Teresa had gone, Abhijit had gone to that program, and we all know her so well. Vishwanath was there, and yet on the stage we could not recognize that there were two girls. So which is which we could not recognize at all, because the costumes were all covering her. So therefore we could not recognize that this is that our familiar this girl, yeah. Yeah. So it is. Uh, Similarly, God takes up the garb of a human being, and therefore we see that as a human being, it is like Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Avajananti mam mudham manushim tanumashritam param bhava majananto mama bhuta maheshwaram, that people seeing me as human being, they do not recognize my inner divinity and therefore disregard me, and they disregard me. They don't give me proper respect. And this is what happens when we see only the human aspect, that it is the garb, a human garb is there, and therefore not seen. I have told many times this story, that how the covering of a bunny had hit the chocolate. Somebody gave me, I was very new to this country then, and then somebody presented an Easter bunny, very nice with all the golden foil, everything, and looked so good. And I didn't know that it is supposed to be a candy. I thought that it is a nice piece to be so on TV. There I kept somewhere there as a showpiece. But those others knew what it means. Uh, so since I didn't think of it as candy, my mouth never watered, looking at it. But there were others who knew that it is candy. So while walking in front of my room and all, they would remember, so it is like that. So it is. So one day, one of our volunteers could not withstand my apathy towards it, or towards the other people, who would like to share. It was a pretty big piece. Swami, when are you going to distribute that candy to us? Candy? What candy? That is a nice bunny. It is. No, it is candy. What are you talking? And it is, Swami, it is the Easter bunny, means a candy or something edible. You have to open and break. And it was so well sealed, I even did not know that it can be opened. And this is so that you get deluded, and whatever the appearance is, you go by that. I told that lady, that our volunteer, had I known that it is actually a candy, then you wouldn't ever have got it. I would have gobbled it all, you see. But fortunately for you, I didn't know that. So okay, now you guys, you open and distribute it, because you are the one who recognized it. I didn't recognize it, so it was my loss. So those of us who do only see the human garb but do not recognize the divine underneath, it is their loss. Because in ordinary us also, there is God present there in each of us. But it is very difficult to see the Godhead in people like us, because this garb does not get removed to exhibit the divinity. But in cases of the divine incarnation, the garb keeps on falling every now and then, and yet we get deluded. That is the problem. Their acting skills are tremendous, and therefore, even though we see, like after this prayer, these stanzas, then the prayer is full of the description of various acts of Krishna, which are not like ordinary human being only. They befit the Lord. Only God can perform such actions. So although human, these actions are quite a proof that you are not an ordinary human being as you show yourself to be. It is. So therefore I prostrate before you again and again. The prayer continues with many beautiful spiritual gems. I have chosen just a few very commonly quoted and are very important. As devotees, we pray to Lord for all the pleasures in the world be ours. Let I should not get any health issues, no problems should be there. It doesn't matter if the whole world dies with some infection and whatever, but I should remain healthy. We are so body centric that it is. That is that story of a ship sinking, and then everybody started praying. Now all were praying for, okay, God save me. One was a little more generous. Oh Lord, save me and my wife Mary. Save my son David and his wife Jenny. Us four and no more. So it is. That is the kind of human prayers. We don't like to admit it, but then our prayers are governed like that. That okay, any this you pray. People also tell us to pray for me. Means my headache will go away, or pray for me so that I will get this job. Pray for me so that such thing would happen. These are the prayers of the ordinary people. Nothing wrong in that. At least they are praying to God, you see. But these are prayers, so and they get answered as also many times. That is why it continues, because they get answered. So, but in spite of their being answered, it is like somebody who could give you, say, $1 million, but your outlook is very narrow. You don't realize that. You ask for a penny and feel elated when you get a penny. So it is something like that. The one who can give you the highest unending bliss, to that being you are asking for some tidbits here. It is just silly, and yet human beings do that. So this prayer is an ideal prayer, that you see, it is just turned on the head, exactly reverse of what we should be praying. Just reverse of what we pray, not what we should be praying, but what we pray, exactly opposite of that. You see this prayer, that विपदः सन्तु न शश्वत् तत्र तत्र जगद्गुरो भवतो दर्शनं यत् स्याद् अपुनर्भव दर्शनम्. That I wish that all those calamities would happen again and again. She had described earlier in a few verses before that how you saved us from so many calamities. In Pandava's life there were so many calamities, and Krishna came and saved them and saved Kunti, and they were thus blessed. What Kunti sees is that those calamities that you saved us from, all those big problems that came to life and from which you saved. But the important thing is, because of that we got to see you, see your true nature. Then in that moment you see the tremendous power of God as it were manifest before you as a savior. Now you become a savior. We could see your divine nature, and so we request. I request that may all such calamities keep on befalling us. There is the calamity, for example, that the problem that we just saw in a few classes before, that the Parikshit, while he was still in the fetus, Uttara's this fetus. So, in Uttara's womb, that terrible weapon, it came there to kill this unborn baby. And Krishna protected him, although that weapon that missile had no that answer to it. It was completely beyond any counter protection. It was infallible ultimate missile. So, and yet, how did you do it? How did you manage it? It is all beyond, because you are beyond all causalities. Causality is our time space causation bind us in this causal state. Means this is the cause, this is the effect, and therefore we are bound by that. But that the one who is beyond can do anything. You are all pervading. Only God could do this, and therefore we saw your power. Before that, she alludes to many different incidents. Once, while the Pandavas were in forest, Duryodhana, he was visited by a sage who had tremendous power of the austerities, and was quick to curse if he is not properly served, a short-tempered person. But had lot of following and tremendous power. So he had come to Duryodhana. Duryodhana said that, well, you go to those Pandavas there. And when the Pandavas had gone with that Draupadi in the forest, Krishna had given her a magic plate. A magic plate. That plate would be, she needed to cook only a little bit food, and then that food will last for whosoever eats till Draupadi herself eats. Once she has finished, then that will remain empty till the next day. So that was the power of that plate. So Durvasa was told, you please go there, but after the midday meal of everybody is over, but then they still Pandavas will feed you very nicely, don't worry. They have the special means, please go at. And then Duryodhana thought that Pandavas will not be, when Durvasa goes there with his 100 or 1,000 disciples, and then will ask for food, the Pandavas will not be able to do anything, and thus Durvasa in anger will curse and destroy them completely, and then the kingdom will be mine. So he sent Durvasa. Now when Durvasa came, it is that Draupadi had just finished eating, and so there was no food. Now what is to be done? A big calamity. So while she started remembering Krishna, 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 please, please, please save us, please save us. And Krishna appears there from nowhere, as it were, and said to all the sages, "Oh, well, the food will be just ready. Just take your bath in the river there. You have traveled a lot. Just take a dip. Come, by that time the food will be ready." Now, Draupadi confided that nothing is left there. Nothing is left. Just bring the plate to me. Just bring it as it is. And Draupadi brings that plate. There was a small particle of some leaf, some this salad or salad, whatever. We had an argument on this, what is the right pronunciation. Anyway, so it is, if a small leaf is also there, let me see. And he discovered that a small particle was still sticking there. So he took that particle, ate it, and said, "Now let them come. By the time Krishna said, "Wow, my food is done, my meals, I am now full." Yeah, I am full. That one little particle was enough to fill my tummy. Now I am very good. And as he said that, what happened? There was all that Durvasa and all his disciples, as they were taking dip, they started feeling that they are all full to the brim. They started belching. And so they were afraid now how to show face to take food. So they just ran away right from there. So Kunti remembers many such incidents when you showed us your tremendous saving power, and thus we understood that you are divine in human form. So, and therefore, what more can I request? Please bring more and more such calamities. May more and more problems, difficulties come in in our life, so that what will happen? By that, we will be able to see you in your true form. And what happens with that? What a beautiful statement. Bhagavatam, the language is really so poetic, supreme, that Bhavatah means your darshan, your this divine vision. When we get that, then there is no again seeing this world. This will be the last birth. We will na punarbhava darshanam. Again, we don't have to get into this terrible cycle of birth and death. We will get liberated. This is this is how when we see God, that's it. If we have the vision of God as God, then we know that is the self. That is inside me. Like when you know that there is the screen behind every picture that one sees in the movie, every action, every picture, whatever is happening, behind that there is screen. And when we think of that, when we see that, then we do not see that that is what is happening is really happening. It is all screen that is alone real. And we know that if a child has never seen the movie and has gone to see the movie and has heard that there is screen behind on which the movie gets shown. But if the movie has already started when the father son duo enters the theater, now this fellow is asking, I'm seeing all, where is the screen? You told that it comes on the screen. Where is the screen? Of course, these days you cannot find such a child. They can show father also where the screen is. You see, it is. They are more knowledgeable than the grown-ups. So it is. So where is the screen? And now, how can father show him the screen? Because wherever the father is pointing the finger, there is some picture. And then the son would say, kidding me. I am seeing this as a man there. Man and screen are different. Even though I am child, I understand that much. Man is not screen. Where is the screen? Now, wherever the finger is pointed, there is some picture or the other, and so child says, no, that is not screen. That is a car that you are showing. So, what is the screen? What is the screen? Where is it? In and through all these pictures, in and through all of us, the pictures, they come and go, they change, and the screen alone remains. Now if the child, as the movie is over and child sees the screen, next time he knows where the screen is. There is no delusion after that. So when we see God, even once, what will happen, Tommy? No? Huh? Exactly. No more birth and death. Tommy is a very brilliant student. No more birth and death. Apunarbhavadarshanam. So this is the result of that, and therefore she continues in the same vein that people get puffed up by Janma, Aishwarya, Shrutashri, Bhire, Dhamana, Madha Puman. That because Janma, my birth, my lineage so big. Do you know our family? This was how my uncle was, and this was how my father was. This was how my mother was, and so forth. You get puffed up because of that, because of the lineage, how great they were. So I also am great. You don't want much to tell about their greatness, just to impress how great then I am, yes. So it is, and then all the wealth around, that makes us puffed up. That, I have one a big palatial house in New York, Manhattan, right there near this Central Park. And also I have another one in Los Angeles. Good to have one on the East Coast, another on the West Coast. And also I have a few in the middle regions. Look at, it is so much, so puffed up. So thinks that I am so successful, I am so wise. So no need, to respect anybody else. So Then there is Shruta, means knowledge. I have 10 PhDs. And so forth. I have got won so many awards, so many of my books have been bestsellers, and so forth. So one gets puffed up by that. And what happens when you get puffed up because of this? You become disqualified. Naivarhati abhidhatum vai tvam bhakti tvam akinchana gocharam. That you are akinchana gocharam. You can be seen only by those who have nothing else. Akinchana. They have those who have no wealth at all. Because otherwise you have this idea, I am so good. You don't need God. You cannot think of God then. So you become disqualified. That is why Jesus said it is easier for a camel to pass through the needle, or that eye of the needle, than a rich man to go to heaven. It is like that. So whenever we want to become rich, what it means is we don't want to go to heaven. We become disqualified by that. So it is. So he says, I salute to you who is akinchana vittaya. Akinchana means those who don't have anything of their own. Nothing of theirs to speak of. And so you are their wealth. You are the wealth of those who have nothing to say that this belongs to them. Because then they have only the limited, howsoever big it may be. Compared to the infinite, it is only an infinitesimally small thing. So you say, I have got 3 huge palatial houses. That means you do not have other billion houses that are around, you see. You miss those. How many can you have? So it is like that. It is, So therefore you do not get the God if you have anything to say that this is mine. If you say this is mine, let us remember this, friends. If something is mine, you are stuck with that little which also will be taken away from you. And if you see that nothing belongs to you, then God belongs to you. God belongs to you if nothing belongs to you. So let us, friends, practice this thought that nothing, because that is truth. Nothing belongs to me. It is, that is the truth. Nothing belongs to me. Let us keep on affirming this. And so then God belongs to us. It is, God belongs to us. We have to be practical, friends, isn't it? We have to be what? Richard, you want to be practical or impractical? Always practical, isn't it? You have to be always practical. So, therefore, see, practical means aspire for that which is, rather than aspire for the grapes that you saw in dreams. You don't want to eat the grapes that you saw in dream. So, be practical. God is real. So let us aspire for God. And other things are just imaginary. They have no locus standi. It is only because being deluded, being impractical, we ask for non-existent things to be ours, and thus miss that which is. We don't get that. So, being spiritual or religious means being just practical. Mm. Just be practical, that's it. And you are religious. There is no choice then. If you are not spiritual, means you are impractical. It is, let us be practical. So, this is what she says, Namo Kanchana Vittaya Nirvritta Gunavrittaye Atma Ramaya Shantaya Kaivalya Pataye Namaha. You are the wealth of those, I salute you, the wealth of those who have nothing their own, and you are free from all the various these qualities. You are not caught into those, you are free from all those, and you are satisfied in this self. It is all the wealth is in this self for you, all joy is in this self. You don't depend on any object for joy. That is called Atma Rama. Very beautiful, very significant word. Your joy, you are independent of any object, including your body, for joy. Look at the life of Sri Ramakrishna, and that will tell us that. It is so Atma Ramaya Shantaya, that is, you see, the peace, and Kaivalya Pataye Namaha. So the one who gives the supreme liberation. So to that Kunti salutes, and that is the great prayer. Next class we will try to say that the another such important prayer before we conclude this first volume, Prathama Skandha, and that is the prayer of Bhishma, another great devotee, and we shall see a few more things. We shall recite the concluding prayer, and then if you have any questions you can ask. निगमकल्पतरुर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुर्मुहुः रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. Oh, devotees, quaff, quaff to intoxication this nectar of the fruit of the tree of Vedas, flowing from the mouth of the great sage Shuka and mixed with the ambrosia from his words. Any question? Oh, you have a question? Comment, okay. Yeah, exactly. That is that kind of savior. As I mentioned earlier, that our prayers are of that level. And so we get only that much. And the result of that much, the bill comes, okay, you want this. In the restaurant, that attendant brings you whatever you order, and then the bill also follows. So whatever we ask from God, God becomes the waiter there. Okay, you ordered this, come on, have this, and the bill also follows. So mhm. Yeah. Well, that is, the it is the interpretation of the worldly people. It is belief means those people like us, they like to believe. It is not the spiritual message either from Islam or from Christianity. So, in Hindus also you will find such funny ideas amongst the people. So, it is, but it should not concern us. Say, we are. Huh? Well, that is whatever is their belief, according to their belief, they act. Hmm. Yeah, it is. Everybody acts according to their belief. It is, yeah, Jesus is personal savior. I told here that whatever Jewish friend said, that see, we Jewish people and Christians, we don't have fight at all. We agree that Jesus saves, he is savior, so he saves, but our Moses invests. Ah. So what is the use of saving if you don't invest it, you see? So Jesus saves but Moses invests. So that kind of savior is like that, So ah, good. So it is, let us conclude with the closing prayers, the closing chant. मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल। कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल।